Hey, Lancer Nation, I'm Braiden Bell, and I'm joined by junior water polo player Kira O'Donnell. And she recently scribed the newest release of The Lancer Way, and her piece is now up on cbulancers.com. Kira, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. First off, I want to say your piece was very well done. And when I was reading it, I found myself relating to some of the things you felt and dealt with. And I think others will as well when they read it. March 12th, 2020 was the day you talk about. And you guys were in Santa Clara looking to improve on a 7 game winning streak in the pool. And then suddenly it stopped. And it seems like the whole world kind of stood still that day.
hmm
March 12th was the day the season was canceled, and sports across the country were shut down or canceled altogether as well. Just how surreal was that day?
I mean, it was just, I obviously, when I woke up March 12th, I didn't think any of those events would have taken place. So, as each hour on that day passed, I mean, it was more of a shock and more, I just think I was numb the whole day. I didn't really know what to think. I didn't know what this really meant for the season and for the team. I mean, I explained even just being called into the hotel lobby when Coach Miller was explaining to us that we wouldn't play and that we would have to go back to CBU. But even after that, we were unsure if we were able to get a flight back, if flying was even safe, if we would have to drive back in the rented vans. I think that just the word for that day would be just like confusion. Like no one really knew what to think. No one knew what would happen. Yeah, there was just very surreal day. That's a good word, I guess.
You talk about being numb, and that is completely reasonable. And I think we all were kind of numb to this entire situation for weeks, if not months. And now it's been 2 months since March 12th, and we've had some time to learn more about this virus and how the new normal is going to be across not only sports but life in general. How long did it take you for the suddenness to wear off? Like you said, you were preparing for a match that day, and then suddenly the season was done. How long did it take for that to wear off and for you to really realize that the season was over?
Honestly, I think it took me like a couple weeks. I think that just a couple days after March 12th, I still hadn't really internalized it. I think I still had kind of a hope that we would be able to come back after spring break because my school had decided to begin spring break early just that next day on March 13th. So, us going back, we weren't really sure if we had to pack for just spring break or for the entire semester or what. And so, I personally packed just for spring break. And so I think when I came back like a week and a half later or so, packing up for the rest of the semester, that's when it really started to set in. As I was moving back home for until hopefully just until August.
Kira, everyone still has so many unknowns in terms of when sports will resume and what is in store for the fall season. But getting away from that, you talk about the new normal and how you've settled in a bit, even though this is very odd, being an at home D1 athlete.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the biggest changes you've learned to adapt to and maybe even enjoy?
I mean, I think the number one change is not being with teammates and just being by myself as I do workouts and as I do homework, even though homework seems like a personal and individual activity. I think still going to the library, still going to people's apartments, everything really I did with my teammates. And so I feel like I've learned to adapt just by Zooming with teammates or other friends to work out. I will go in my living room and do homework just around my parents. Just to be around people, just kind of keeping the same feel as I do those different activities. Obviously, it's very different, but I've learned how to kind of combat those feelings. And I think also I've learned to enjoy just like I've never had to push myself as I work out, and even if I'm zooming a teammate or a friend, it's different not being there with them, and so I think I've enjoyed just building that motivation for myself and doing it for myself. And just because I want to and I feel like I could, I think I never had to learn how to do that. So I think I've grown in that manner.
I think the whole article is great, but I really enjoyed the ending because it is a bit of a positive tone, even with everything you and every other student athlete across America has been going through the past couple of months. You
Mm-hmm.
say in your piece that being uncomfortable as a student athlete in these crazy times might actually give you and your teammates a chance to grow the most. What do you mean by that?
I mean, grow in not necessarily a physical athletic way, but grow mentally as a person, as an adult. I mean, clearly we're not going to be able to maintain the exact level of athleticism, but that will come when we come back in season. Obviously, we're trying our best to work out as much as possible now, but right now the growth is mental. It's building that mental strength that we need when we go into the really tight games, doing it for our teammates, doing it for ourselves, doing it because we know we can. So I just really feel that all of us will come into next season better equipped for those situations.
Again, you can check out the latest edition of the Lancer Way on cbulancers.com. And Kira, thanks again for joining me. I know it's kind of a wild time right now, and you're getting ready for some more classes in the summer as well. So you're staying busy, but we look forward to seeing you all back in the pool sometime in the near future.